Man, guys, happy Monday. Got a nice little double header on the Monday Night Football card tonight, coming off a 4-1 Sunday so far in NFL Week 2, 11-3 on the NFL season. That's been treating us well. Baseball been going a little bit shaky, and I had a little bit of a rough weekend in college football as well. But NFL keeping us afloat right now, and hopefully we can keep that going. Going to dive into a pair of these games tonight, and going to go down the baseball card as well. There will be a free bet on the baseball card. For how to beat the bookie members, there is one NFL bet out on this total in one of the games tonight. If you guys would like that, go sign up on the website or the app. John, 4-1 day, get it done. Some totals again. The under on the Cowboys game, we gave that to you guys last Tuesday. That line closed all the way down 38.5, and that ended up cashing for us. Get it done on some of these sides as well. Pretty good Sunday so far. What is it now? 10-1 on the two Sunday slates?
Yeah. Real good. The Monday game and Thursday game, we caught a couple of L's, so let's hope we change that tonight. Just to how to beat the bookie members and the guys that aren't actually too, I guess. It's so important to be a VIP member, and that showed up this week. We had the Dallas Jet under 40.5. Look, that game opened 42. We didn't send it out until there was a reasonable enough places to get down on that. But if you waited, if you're a regular, just have access, not a VIP member, that game was already down to 38.5. So that's one game. That turns a winner into a loser. The other game is the Falcons. So we set that out +2. And as I had said in the chat, +2 at that point was an outlier. But there was 1.5 everywhere, and nobody should have got less than 1. But again, if you're not a VIP member, if you wait to get it on the site, by the time we post on Thursday night, Friday morning, that game is crushed. That game moved 5 points. Falcons went from a 2-point dog to a 3-point favorite by game time. That game landed 1. You've got to get these games literally as soon as you can and get in there. We loved the Falcons Sunday. As soon as we got the info, I believe it was Wednesday that Aaron Jones was not at practice and Watson was not at practice. That's when we struck immediately, and the line went right down to 1. I believe it was the next day from 1 to pick. Then I went to the other side. Again, guys, so important to get the right number. Only way to do it, you got to be a VIP member. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to be doing away with our regular service once we go to NBA. If you're not a VIP member, there's just really no point for you guys that aren't betting a lot of money. I understand, but I can't hear guys, well, I didn't get under 40.5, or how could you get 2 and I'm laying pick? Sorry guys, for $39, I'm not going to deal with that. So probably going to be going to just VIP. You'll have the access where you still read the previews for every game. You still get my ratings. And Ben, I don't want to keep you not talking, but I'm just going to talk real quick. Guys, I talk about my ratings all the time. And if you look today, if you remember, go to the ratings page. So just our first couple of games, let's talk about for next week's card. Thursday night game is Giants at San Francisco. Ratings. Giants I've got rated 22.0 on the road. San Fran I've got rated 32.0 at home. That's a 10-point difference. Take out the Giants will be on the road for the second straight week. They're probably staying out west. They played in Arizona yesterday. There's your 10.5. And magically, that's what the line is right now, 10.5. Next game on the card, there's a little bit different number, but I'll explain why. So you get Chargers there. I've got them rated at 26.5 on the road. I've got the Vikings rated 25.0 at home. So that line, it says Chargers should be a 1.5-point favorite. The difference in this one, scheduling. Chargers, back-to-back road games coming off overtime. Vikings, extra rest. They played on a Thursday. That 1.5 becomes pick'em. And, hey, wow, look, that's the line. It's pick'em. One more to throw at you. Let's go Houston, Jacksonville, because the Tennessee-Cleveland game is You got the Browns playing tonight. Obviously, they'll be re-rated. So I got the Houston Texans, and I've got them rated at 17.8 on the road, and Jacksonville rated 26.0 at home. That's an 8.2 difference. So Jacksonville will be an 8.2 favorite. Jacksonville will be home their second week in a row. Takes them up to about an 8.5. Before we do anything else with injuries, we call it 8.5, and the number is sitting at 9 right now. And that's how good my NFL ratings are, guys. So this is what's this How to Beat the Bookie is a sports betting information service. Yeah, you get my bets, but you also get a preview on every game with stats, trends, our likes, our leans, and most importantly, my exclusive home and away rating system. Nobody rates it this way. Not ESPN, not Sagarin. Nobody's got a rating home and away. And make it so simple. You take the road team, you take the home team, you do some simple subtraction that you've done since first grade, and you got a baseline. Anyway, Ben, just wanted to get that out there to the guys.
Yeah, guys, it's all about the numbers. We talk about that all the time. Even the one loser from Sunday, the Patriots, that line closed the point below from 0.3 to 0.2, so +3 to +2. So that's all it's about, getting an edge on the number. That's all we can control, is what number we bet. And the rest of it's up to everyone else out in the field, obviously. And we try to give you guys that edge. So if you guys haven't yet, like, subscribe, comment below. We'll start diving into some of these Monday Night Football games. Actually, let's talk a little bit about Sunday here first. Talked about some of the winners. Can talk about overall what we saw. I mean, obviously a game we didn't have any action on, but everyone heard about. Giants and Cardinals. Giants go down 20-0 at the half and end up coming back, rallying back, getting that win. We'll see how they go look on into week 3 now. But man, that's saved a lot of parlays, a lot of survivor pool guys who had the Giants, and they really needed that. They came out of the big second half offensively. Arizona, though, we were just talking about it before, John. I mean, they're looking pretty competitive. They were the lowest win total heading into the NFL season, and obviously haven't gotten that win yet, but they're fighting right now. They're looking competitive.
Look, just the way every guy out there knew Arizona sucked and is going to be the worst team in the NFL. Do you think the line makers missed that? Of course not. Take into account now, 2 games in, and Arizona is 2-0 against the spread, guys. This is what we talk about, overlays. When we talk about an overlay in baseball, it's in money, but in football, in the NFL, it's by points. So they're tacking on an extra point on Arizona in each game because they know nobody wants Arizona. Just happened in the first couple of games, just not enough for us to pull the trigger on either of those 2 games. But yeah, Arizona, they took a step up. A totally inept offense. Game 1 at Washington looked better yesterday, especially in the first half against the Giants. They got a problem coming into Arizona, though, in the form of the Dallas Cowboys, who, after I said last week, I had them underneath the 49ers and Eagles. Man, what they did to the Jets. Now, obviously, Wilson was the quarterback, and they wouldn't have done that if Rodgers was, but they're just shutting teams down. The Giants and Jets, not great offenses, but they're not. Arizona has a great one either. Expect another 10 points or less for Arizona. So, yeah, I got Cowboys up there now. But again, Arizona, just talking about, it's an overlay. You're laying too many points. And that's why, same thing in baseball, guys. Yeah, it killed me to bet the A's 3 games in a row against the Padres, but the number was screaming for it. Padres hadn't won 4 games in a row all year, so you got to take the number. I mean, look, as bad as baseball was, just getting off the subject here, but as bad as baseball was, there was only 2 of the bets that were 2-unit bets, and one was really a heartbreaker, and that was the Pirates against the Yankees with Cole pitching, and we took a 5-3 lead into the 9th inning, and the game was over on a double play ball that we threw the ball away. Beating the number, and that's what we did each game in the games that we took, just didn't go away. So again, overlays. Yeah, you're going to get Arizona with the overlay. You're not going to get the Dodgers. You're going to get the Dodgers, and you're going to make you pay for them. You're going to take the Braves. They're going to make you pay for them. You want to bet against the garbage teams, the A's, and they're going to make you pay for them, and that's what we call an overlay.
We had in that same division another comeback yesterday with Commanders and Broncos. I mean, the Sean Payton era in Denver off to a brutal start with some home losses. Sam Howell looking pretty decent so far. I mean, that's only his third NFL game, looking pretty solid, getting some wins, remains undefeated there. And I don't know, this Washington team obviously not going to be in contention with Philly or Dallas in the division, but last year, they made it kind of an interesting as far as the wild card race back in the end. They ended up going ice cold down the stretch. But Bieniemy, I mean, you're going to Denver, you go down 21-3, and what he did, offensive adjustments. That's another thing, too, with the Patriots I want to bring up as well. I mean, obviously, it's not the same Brady, Belichick, Patriots, but Belichick still massively, both first week 1 and week 2, the second half adjustments, second to none, and making big runs on both the Eagles and the Dolphins here in the second half. Coaching playing a big part in so far early in the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was another crazy game. And 2 games in, Denver just doesn't look we went against Denver in the first game, had the Raiders on the road. Now Washington comes in, and the Sharps bet Denver yesterday. I just didn't see it. I laid off that game, but the Sharps, they pushed that game up to 4 by kickoff. Looked like they were right in the first half, but man, that second half, all Washington. Broncos got to go on the road to Miami. Might catch a break. Waddle left the game last night, concussion protocol, and just a tough spot for Miami, as they may have a little bit of a look ahead to the following week, but still to go on the road after an 0-2 start at home against 2 bad teams, going to be tough against Miami. And Kareem Jackson, who's laid a couple of hits, he's laid 2 guys out in the first 2 weeks for Denver, knocked Jacoby Myers out in the Raiders game, and he knocks out Logan Thomas, the tight end for Washington yesterday. Look for him to get suspended. The NFL's not going to put up with that. So that puts another man short. And the last thing you want to have, man, look at this nosedive on the Jets. I'm just watching the Jet total plunge down to 37.5 now. That's Jets Patriots. But getting back to that, you don't want to be missing any guys in the secondary facing Waddle and Hill. Again, if they get the break with Waddle out, 36.5. Yeah, well, this must be an injury, so we'll be on top of this. But yeah, Denver in a tough spot going to Miami.
We can talk about these Monday Night Football games. Start with the NFC South matchup. We have Saints at the Panthers. You have the Saints, who looked all pretty decent there against Tennessee in the opener. Carr looked okay. They did force 3 interceptions there. Granted, it's Ryan Tannehill, so I think John and I could force 3 interceptions against Tannehill. Then you have this Panthers team. Bryce Young, obviously, rookie QB, number 1 overall pick. 2 interceptions there. Not the best week 1 there against Atlanta. Is getting some weapons back here. We'll see if that helps him out. Just a weird divisional matchup. Panthers, they've won and covered 3 of the last 4 meetings. Would be a lean here to Carolina, getting some points in the home dog. Really tough to back Bryce Young here in this spot. Didn't look good against an okay Atlanta defense, and definitely a better Saints defense he's going to be going up against tonight. So going to be under pressure, going to be causing issues. I will say, though, didn't love what I saw offensively from Carr. Definitely an upgrade for what they were dealing with last year. Just don't think it's going to be the long-term solution there. Tampa Bay, still my favorite in this division, them and Atlanta. But between these 2 teams, Carolina looking pretty good. Would be a lean here to Carolina. Home dog getting points and matchup they've played well in.
Yeah, I just I can't buy on the rookie QB. Rookie QBs have got to do something for me before I can start putting any money on them. I bet a rookie QB yesterday, but that's because 2 of them were playing each other with the Colts and the Texans. And then we actually lost Richardson after he scored a couple of touchdowns with his feet. We'll have to see what this kid could do for the Panthers. Didn't do much on the road in his first shot, and that was at Atlanta. Saints, they've got that defense. Carr's got to show me something better. He had over 300 yards passing in the first game, but that's against Tennessee. Tennessee is good, and I mean Tennessee is good. let's call them great against the run. They just cannot defend the pass. Even more so yesterday, missing a couple of guys in the secondary. Saints are the defensive team. I think they'll be all over the rookie. I think they're going to make him have a long night tonight. The last two games that the Panthers have played, they scored 10 points in the opener this year, 10 points in the last game last year. I don't see them scoring more than 10 points. I can't like Carolina in this one.
We have the Browns-Steelers matchup, nice divisional matchup here. Steelers, they've had some success in it. They've won and covered 3 of the last 4 meetings, both in Pittsburgh by a combined 54-28. Browns just beat up on the Bengals. Defensively looked terrific there against Cincinnati. Only allowed, I think it was 6 first downs the entire game. Meanwhile, the Steelers team, a little bit of rude week 1, but again, it was against this 49ers juggernaut team, top team in NFL. So take that with a grain of salt. We'll see how they look here against Cleveland. This is a always pretty hard-fought matchup, so going to be fascinating. Would be worth a look to the under just by the play styles, but both matchups did go over last season, so that's a bit weird on the total read. Not a big prop guy, but kind of like Watson and Pickett, both to throw picks tonight, getting plus money on Watson, plus 110, about minus 110 there for Pickett. Expect this to be a bit more of a defensive battle, specifically for Watson. You take Cooper out, obviously number 1 pass target there, and then you're going to put him here in a situation on the road against one of the better pass rushes in football, already looking a little bit sloppy there against Cincinnati. Obviously, Cleveland just prefers to run the football. I think we might see an opportunity there for a pick. So could be a good prop play there, but as far as the sides on this situation, again, home dog or nothing, although Cleveland, I was impressed with them week 1.
Yeah, no, they did what they wanted to do with Cincy. They stopped them. They stopped Joe Burrow, and they ran all over them, as they do just about to everybody. Pittsburgh, they looked as bad as you could possibly look, and as Ben said, that was against the 49ers. So you take Cleveland looking so good, Pittsburgh looking so bad, but they're both a little closer. Cleveland's not that good. Pittsburgh's not that bad. Home dog and not in divisional matchup. Like I said yesterday, guys, we had Baltimore Ravens. We sent it out early in the week at plus 3.5. If you read the preview, as a matter of fact, if you guys go to my Instagram story, I said this is another tough divisional battle that will be decided by a field goal. What was the final score? 27-24. Should be more of the same here. Does Pittsburgh come out on top on the with the head field goal? We'll see. Should be a real defensive matchup. Pitt is missing a big the defensive tackle. Hayward, he'll be out. This Cleveland running the ball. That's how they get it done. Pittsburgh got to be able to stop the run. They'll look better than they did last week. Cleveland won't look as good. Steelers as the home dog or nobody.
Yeah, I'm down 11 in fantasy with Chubb going tonight, so I need Chubb to go take care of business for us, see if he gets it done. But that's NFL, guys. 11-3 on the season so far. We'll see how we wrap up week 2 with the bet out there tonight. And same thing I told you guys last week. I mean, we mentioned at the start of this as well, beating the number, everything else. If you're looking to get on this NFL run, don't wait till Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The bets start coming out early in the week. That's when we start to get an edge on these numbers. So if you guys want to sign up, howtobeatthebookie.com or download the app so we can keep it on going into week 3.
Our first bet last week was sent out Tuesday morning, and that was that Jet total at 40.5. And again, that thing hit as low as 38. Want to run ahead of the numbers, guys. Falcons, again, that's a 5-point move. You're not going to see that in NFL unless you're missing a quarterback. Just example, the overnight line for next week's Monday night game, Rams at Cincy. Overnight was Cincy 7. Joe Burrow, he re-aggravated that calf, that injury that he had in the exhibition season. That line's down to 3.5. That line is telling me that Joe Burrow will not be playing. That's a 3.5-point move on one of the best quarterbacks. So when we move a game 5 points, you know we get the right side. And that's why I say all the time, we may lose some games and we say we're on the right side, but got the wrong result. And look, that's what happened. That's what happened with the Patriots last night. You take +3 in the game. That game hit as low as 1.5. Closed 1.5 or 2, depending on your book. We're on the right side. We're on the site that the Sharps took at the number before the Sharps took it. Can't get better than that.
And we can start to dive into some of these MLB games. There will be a free bet on this MLB slate, so hang tight with us. I started off with this NL East matchup, Mets at Marlins. And can we talk about maybe a letdown here for Miami coming in, sweeping Atlanta, taking care of business? They do get the pitching edge here today, but Budo for the Mets, as being recalled, hasn't been bad. 3 runs and 11 and a third. Cabrera, last 2 times out, 2 runs and 8 2/3. This is going to be a slightest of leans here to Mets, just because, like I said, there is that letdown spot. But obviously, Marlins still playing for a little bit something at this time of year. Mets pretty much wrapped up. They did go 4-3 on the homestand, but over the last couple of months, definitely have had some major road struggles. Would be slightest leans there, but I'm staying away from this one.
Yeah, this number is about right where it should be. As Ben said, the potential for a letdown after Miami absolutely assaulted the Braves. Now, this is what we talk about, guys, with the teams that have already locked up their spot. Braves just pulling it back a notch. They're going to finish as the 1 seed in the NL. More of the same with the Dodgers. More of the same with the Twins. They're in no man's land. They're what we call playing out the strength. Marlins need to win another game. They need to win another few games. Now tied for that last wild card spot with the Cubbies. But the game's right where it's supposed to be. Wouldn't lay a penny up. Mets have played Marlins well this year. Beat them 5 of 7. Including 3 or 4 at Miami. That's a solid number. Wouldn't mess around with this game.
And we have another NL East matchup, Phillies at Atlanta. And I imagine this is the last series we see the Braves really get up for here. They had this divisional matchup with Miami, and obviously they got swept there. Now they get the Phillies. And after this, it's Nats, Cubs, Nats. So this might be the real last series we see them get up for. We'll see how they show up. But coming off getting swept, I mean, you got Phillies. They took 2 or 3 against St. Louis. Wheeler versus Wright. You guys know we had this matchup last week. Said couldn't want any other pitcher going against the Braves other than Wheeler. Then gets crushed, 6 runs, 3 homers in 5 innings. Prior to that, though, 8 straight quality starts, 5-2, 1.93. We'll be looking for him to bounce back here. Last time he got roughed up by Atlanta, started that 8 straight quality start stretch. And then Wright, just the first start since May, and he did not look right. 6 runs, 6 hits, 3 innings. Wouldn't expect much from him here in this start. Only thing worse you can have from anytime you have a guy who's getting either called up to make a debut or when he's getting hurt and he's coming back from the IL. If you have a bad first start, the last thing you want is to see the same team twice in a row, and that's what he has to do here. So this would be Phillies or nobody, Wheeler with the edge, and obviously Atlanta coming off the sweep. Imagine they show up here.
Yeah, I expect them to show up, and that's what kept me off this game. The Sharps are all over Philly in this one. This one opened up Atlanta minus 120 on the overnight, sitting at about minus a dime, minus 11 cents. Philly now. So the favorite is flipped in this one. Philly still needs wins. They're the top NL wild card right now. Still 12 games to go, and you got 4 teams all fighting for it. So, yeah, they got to continue to get W's. Atlanta, like they said, in no man's land. Acuna, he's missed the last 2 games. It's possible him and Betts, one of those 2 is going to be your MVP this year. So he's missed the last couple of games. He's questionable today. If we knew he was out ahead of time, would have made it a little more interesting for me to want to bet Wheeler in this spot. I'll just stay off because I think Atlanta's got to come home really pissed off. I mean, they got an ass whooping in Miami. Let's see what they do tonight. But, yeah, it would be Philly or nobody in this one.
And we have Brewers at St. Louis. Usually this time of year, this matchup has a lot of meaning. Not this time around. Milwaukee coming off a 2-1 loss to the Nats in the 11th yesterday. Cardinals, they get it done against Philly, but drop 2 or 3 in the series. Peralta versus Waino. Peralta's just been magnificent since July 26, 6-0, 2.01 ERA. Last time out, 1 run and 6 1/3. Only one really, not even a bad start. It's just not an amazing start where he gave up 3 runs and 5 1/3. Was against Pitt, the only time I saw a division team there. 2 starts versus the Cards this year. Was roughed up at St. Louis, 6 runs and 5 1/3. And then you got Waino going. He's got a handful of starts left. I believe this is his second to last home start. First start, he got his first win since June against Baltimore. Prior to that, crushed by Atlanta. Last 2 home starts are quality starts. This game means a little bit more to St. Louis. Obviously not playing for much of this time of year. Maybe try and play spoiler and ruin the Brewers season. But more so Wainwright looking for win number 200. been pitching a bit better this month. We'll see if that carries over. 3 of his last 4 starts been decent, roughed up by Atlanta. Will be cards or nobody here, home dog.
Yeah, it's just tough for me to want to pull the trigger on Wainwright. He hasn't had 2 decent starts back-to-back in forever. 2 runs last game in 5 innings, prior 6 runs in 5 innings. 1 run again in 6 innings against the Padres, really good, but then 6 runs in 4 2/3 against the Pirates. He's still pitching at over a 9 ERA in the last couple of months. Just can't pull the trigger. But look, it's St. Louis and nobody. It's an overlay, and that's it. Even with as good as Peralta is pitching, Milwaukee also in that no man's land that we talked about. Big lead now. Cubs just falling apart. So with the Cubs falling apart out in Arizona, Milwaukee's opened up a 6.5 game lead. Just 2 weeks left in the season. They're pretty much going to be in there. So at this part of the year, I mean, look, Milwaukee right now, you got Burns, Woodruff, and Peralta. They got 3 aces going right now. So they'll take it back. Look, Burns, the day in New York against the Yankees, he had a no-hitter going at 8 innings. They pulled him. It's time to get ready for the playoffs. And that's why I say when you got a lot of these teams, you're not going to burn out your pitcher. We saw that last week. I believe it was with Gray. I said the Twins would let him go deep into the game. 4 innings, pulled him out of the game. So same thing with Peralta here. You see him going 6 innings. If his pitch count's up there, won't be out there for the 7th. Just Wainwright. Can't do it. Big number. St. Louis and nobody for not pulling the trigger on the Cards.
Then we have Rockies at San Diego, Black versus Waka. Rockies coming off a loss against San Francisco, playing a bit better now. They had a really rough stretch there, 5-2 on the homestand, and you guys know how much it drops off when they go on the road. Then Waka going, who's just been brutal. Last couple of starts, 10 runs, 14 hits, 8 innings. Block's been decent. They won 2 of his last 3 starts. Last time out, 3 runs in 5 innings versus the Cubbies. Rockies have played decent in this matchup this year. They've won 4 of 10, which isn't great, but when you're getting big dog money every time, it's not bad at all. 40%. That's our break even right there. So this would be a slight lean here to Colorado. Waka, since coming back from the IL, has not looked the same. And Colorado picking up a little momentum here to end the season.
Yeah. Padres won 4 in a row for the first time this year. They'll chase number 5, and they get the Rockies to do it. I actually had one guy DM me, watch San Diego make their move. It's too late. It's just too late. Yeah, if they win the rest of their games, they're still not going to make it. They're 6 games out of the final wild card spot right now as we speak. And if they were only chasing one team, hey, it's doable. They win all their games. The other team lose. It's doable. They can't. There's too many teams in front of them. So this is one of the reasons I was betting against them all weekend. Only pretty much get kicked in the balls. Are they still coming? Do they still think they got a shot? I don't think they do. But this is going to be a huge number. First of all, they haven't actually announced Block. That's who we expect to be the pitcher. But I don't have him as an official pitcher yet. But this is a huge number, 250, minus 250. Rockies are terrible on the road. 29th scoring in road games. Worst team in the NL on the road. Don't want no part of the Rockies. But this is a ridiculous overlay. So I hope you guys don't get caught up into the San Diego's on fire. They're making their pennant push right now.
And we have a gross AL Central matchup. Guardians at Kansas City. Quantrill versus Singer. Singer, last 4 starts, 0-3, 10-plus ERA. Meanwhile, you have Quantrill, since returning from the IL, looks back to form. 3 straight quality starts, 1.50 ERA. Singer did have a quality start, 6 shutout innings versus the Guardians at home earlier this year. This is under or nothing with this matchup. A little bit rough there, seeing Singer's numbers. He just pitched well against Cleveland this year, pitched well against Cleveland in the past. And then this Guardians team, maybe a little bit of letdown after taking care of business there against Texas. Quantrill's look phenomenal. Have no interest in backing KC here. It'll be Guardians or nothing. Just a bit heavier lean to the under in this matchup.
Yeah, big pitching mismatch. I go by the way guys are pitching right now. Quantrill, that stock's going up, and Singer, that stock is nosediving. This Cleveland team, I mean, they just beat the piss out of the Texas Rangers, who the Rangers were red hot. They come into Cleveland and get 3 in a row. again, like San Diego, they're just too far out of it. They're not going to make a pennant push here, but it's a pitching matchup that Quantrill has got a big pitching advantage. A problem here. This is an afternoon game, actually, guys. A 2:10 game. So KC played at home yesterday. Cleveland will have to play, get to KC and get to the ballpark early. $1.20. That's what I make the game. The game right now is minus 125. It's just not enough of an edge for me to want to pull the trigger either way. But I would not want Kansas City, not with Singer going. Add in the fact Salvi Perez is going to miss his second straight game.
We have Red Sox at Texas. Boston swept at Toronto. Rangers swept at Cleveland. I mean, two teams here. Boston not as much in the wild card race anymore. Texas, though, holding on to dear life for that final spot. Up one game on Seattle, half game back of Toronto. And even in the AL West, still just 1.5 back of Houston. So every game matters here for Rangers. And that's ultimately what keeps me off this game. But it's tough. Crawford is really good on the road. 6-3, 2.69 ERA. Falls off when he goes back on the road, or back at home, excuse me. Then you have Montgomery, who's coming off bounce back quality starts, 7 shutout innings there versus the Jays. Going to give Montgomery a pitching edge here, but ever so slightly. Before that, he was going a little bit rough. Texas just needs this more, and that's what's keeping me away here. But tempting to go with Crawford on the road with those numbers. We need to see more on the price here.
Nah, Red Sox dead team. 2-10 their last 12. They've run up the white flag. Just getting. I mean, both teams got swept, but they get swept in Toronto, scoring a grand total of 5 runs in that series. Fired the general manager. Season's over. They're just playing out the string. Texas has got to win. It's an overlay. The price is too high to lay a Texas team that's been in a funk outside of the 4-game sweep that they had at Toronto prior to getting swept at Cleveland. So it's an overlay, but I want nothing to do with the Red Sox right now.
We have Orioles at Houston, like we just said with that wild card or that division race. Houston up 1.5. Baltimore currently up 2 on Tampa Bay, and both teams trying to hold on for the division lead. Baltimore celebrated last night, clinching the playoffs, which I get. They haven't been in the playoffs in a while, but I just don't like that mindset. You have a chance to win this division. You have Houston coming up, who, if you want to do anything in the playoffs, you're going to have to get past Houston. So I did not like the way they celebrated last night. I would have wished they waited until they clinched the division. Tough to back that going into this. Means was okay, all considered. I mean, last 2 years riddled with injuries. Didn't make a start since April of 22. 3 runs, 5 innings, get it done decently. They lose to the Cardinals there, but all considered decent outing. And Verlander in September, not as good. 1-2, 5.40 ERA. Lean to Baltimore here. Have to see who's in the lineup. Hate the way they celebrated that. If they're not careful, they're not going to win this division, which they have a chance to do so.
Yeah, big. I mean, look, it was a big win for them yesterday. First of all, it was a walk-off win in extra innings. Not only does that put them back to their 2-game lead, it was a 4-game series. They dropped the first 2 to get to a tie. They win the next 2. So not only do they split that series, get back to 2-game lead on Tampa Bay, but more importantly, they also win the tiebreaker. So it's basically a 3-game lead now because of the head-to-head with the Rays. All that being said, do you go and celebrate and now come play this game? We're expecting everybody to be out of the game. It's the only way that the line would even be anything close to this. The line opened up minus 135 on the overnight. It is an insane up as high as minus 185 right now. If Baltimore came to play this game, this would be a 3-unit baseball bet for me. Orioles, best road record in Major League Baseball. Astros, the worst home record of any division leader. Is it 1 game over 500? 1 game over 500. Verlander, the old man, is that age starting to show up now here in September? All of a sudden, first few starts coming back to Houston look good. Not so much lately. So yeah, Means first game didn't look good. Remember, this guy's coming off missing almost 2 years. But if Baltimore plays all their guys, can't help but take 170. We don't expect them to, so we'll stay off this one.
And we have Seattle at Oakland. Seattle, once again, one of these teams here trying to hang on for dear life. 2.5 games back in the division, 1 game back of Texas in the wild card. This is absolute must take care of business games here in this series, because if you're the Mariners, you go from this to, let me pull it up here. I believe it's Texas, Houston, Texas. So absolute brutal schedule to close out for the Mariners here. Really need each one of these games against Oakland. Yes, Texas, Houston, Texas. And then need wins here. So this is they get the slight pitching edge, but I mean Sears has been looking really good in September, and he's just had these stretches this season where it's off and on, off and on. Over under in this matchup is 5-1 to the under. The last 6 meetings, we'll be looking at the under here. Both pitchers going solid right now. Can't want any part of Oakland with how much this game means to Seattle.
Yeah, and Mariners have just owned them this year. They've won 9 of the 10, all 3 in Oakland. Oakland, they look like they were playing a little good baseball there for a little bit, taking 2 of 3 at Houston. But yeah, just get absolutely swept, beat up by the Padres in the last one. Mariners not playing good ball at all. They got swept by the Dodgers, and they got beat by the Dodgers B team yesterday. Dodgers, they locked up. They clinched the West on Saturday. They gave everybody off yesterday. Betts, Freeman, Muncy, Will Smith. They went in and still punished the Mariners. Mariners just in a bad funk right now. 4-10, their last 14 overall. This team not too long ago was in first place. They're going to be battling now just to make it as a wild card with a tough schedule coming up. Have to beat the A's if you're going to be in the playoffs. So that's what they look for. So a little bit of an overlay, but after backing the A's for the last weekend, I'll stay off them in this spot.
We have the Twins at Cincinnati. Cincy, half game back of the Cubbies there, right there with Miami, trying to make something happen in the wild card. They get this Twins team who's playing pretty decent, all considered this time of year. 7-3 the last 10 road games. Just took 3 or 4 against the White Sox. Ryan, he's been pitching decent. 1-1, 3.07 his last 3 starts. This would be a slight lean here to the Reds. Phillips has been going bad. 2 career starts, 8 runs, 10 hits, and 8 2/3. Don't really want to be backing that, but this is just 2 teams needing this game differently. You have Twins who are very safe with the division lead. You have Cincinnati who needs every single bit of this game. And that's what it gets to this time of year. It's hard to bet against those teams. Luckily for them, they get a pretty nice scheduled close. Pittsburgh, Cleveland, St. Louis.
Yeah. Ryan, he's 1-1, 307 in 3 September starts. Last time out, 4.2 innings, 4 2/3 innings. He's had 1 quality start since July 3rd. That's over 9 starts. He did spend a couple of weeks on the IL. So while Phillips is absolutely horrible, he's had 2 major league starts. Phillips, he's been smashed in both games, giving up 10 hits, 3 homers over 8 2/3 innings. But Ryan, like I said, you're going to get 5 innings, maybe 6 if he's going great out of him. But they're not going to push anything. Twins again in that same no man's land, 7-game lead with 12 games left over Cleveland. Pretty much take it for granted they're going to win it. And Twins, the only division leader under 500 on the road. Now, Cincy happens to be the only team in the playoff hunt that's under 500 at home. So a team that's not good on the road, a team that's not good on the road, but you got a Cincy team that needs to win, where the Twins are pretty much locked up. And even though I give Ryan the pitching advantage, I don't make it this high. It would have to be called a Reds or nobody.
And then we have White Sox at Washington. This Clevenger going here. I mean, both teams just playing bad right now. You have Nats who are 4-17, 4-13 their last 17. White Sox 4-12 their last 16. Pick your poison here. But it's just 2 different pitchers. Clevenger, last 2 starts, both quality starts, 2 runs, 13 innings, 14 Ks, no walks, had a decent outing versus the Nats last year. And Adon, last time out, 4 runs and 4 innings, 6 walks versus Pitt. Both teams struggling, but 2 pitchers going different directions. Give me Clevenger on the road here or nothing, but don't really want to be laying the White Sox as a road favorite this time of year.
Absolutely not. And Robert sat yesterday. He leads the team in homers and RBIs, and it's probably just a day of rest, and he'll be back in the lineup. But absolutely, look, this time of year, you got a game like this, want to see the lineups. Clevenger for sure. the pitching advantage. But yeah, no way in the world am I laying anything with the White Sox. Only two teams have a worse record than them on the road. That's the A's and the Royals.
And then to wrap up the card, we got Tigers at LA, Rodriguez versus Lance Lynn. Rodriguez was who the Dodgers tried to get at the division at the deadline, and then obviously he waived that, and they ended up getting Lance Lynn out of all that nonsense. Rodriguez, last time out, 4 runs and 5 1/3, roughed up a bit. Dodgers did crush him last season for 6 runs, and Lance Lynn, who was a lot better at the start, is coming off a nice little 2 runs and 7 innings quality start. Before that was roughed up in his 2 prior starts. Going to give Rodriguez the pitching edge. He's just been more consistent this season. No pitcher really going lights out right now. And Dodgers, what do they have to play for? So this is just pitching edge Detroit. Big price here would be Tigers or nobody, John.
Yeah, look what the Tigers are doing. So this is the bet that we're giving you guys. I made a 1-unit bet. Would have been more, but I've been ice cold with the baseball. Hot as we've been with the football, been that cold with baseball. So it's a 1-unit bet. I took plus 165 first thing this morning. Detroit get it done. Yeah, it was just against the Angels, the 3 games who just they're nauseating. But anyway, Tigers 11-3. Their last 14 road games. Now 2 games over 500 on the road for the year. Dodgers, I believe they are 2-5. Their last 7 at home. And as Ben said, and we've been talking about, they're in that no man's land, nowhere to play. They clinched the division Saturday night. They sat all their stars yesterday, so I expect them all to be back in the lineup today, but just with nothing to play for other than personal accolades. How many doubles does Freeman can get? Can Betts win the MVP? But when you're going like that, again, with Lynn pitching on the mound, the arms that they've lost, you've got to be careful. You know, he won't go too deep in the game. They want to get everybody work. It's what we call playing out the string. They're getting ready for the playoffs. Detroit red hot. Rodriguez, the better pitcher, plus 165, worth it for a unit.
That's the MLB card, guys. Went over the 2 games in Monday Night Football as well. Like we said, there is a 1 bet out there in one of the games tonight. If you guys want to get that bet, howtobeatthebookie.com or download the How to Beat the Bookie app. 11-3 to start the NFL season. 4-1 yesterday on the Sunday slate. Hopefully we can wrap up week 2 here with another winner tonight. And if you guys want all these bets, don't wait till the end of the week. Lines will be moving. John, I don't know if you have anything else to add there. I know we got that 1 free bet for you guys. Hopefully we get that a winner. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, the bets are they're start to dwindle down here in baseball with the matchups. Who means something? But we're on top of every game. NFL, 8 bets week 1. Was it 8 or 8 bets week 1? Just 5 bets.
7 bets technically with Thursday and Monday.
Okay, so again, a lot of bets the first 2 weeks. I expect that to be less going forward. First 2 weeks is always when we've got the edge. We kind of know what these lines should be. And as I showed you guys at the beginning of the podcast, where my numbers say are pretty much what the lines are now. So those lines get tougher with every passing game. But still, we're on our angles. We're on our injuries. You got to be a member. Be a VIP member, guys.
Make sure you guys go check that out. Sign up on the app or the website. Like, comment, subscribe below. Let's make some money.
Make some money.